Hi there, it's Care again. I don't know when I last hung out with you guys, but today I decided that I'm just gonna do this for a bit. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Why do I always forget after I go live to plug in the handy dandy microphone? But let me just talk to you what I'm doing today. So we're always repurposing the hardback books. Today, I'm going to be repurposing. It's really all not that different. This is only part one, because part one is the destruction of the book. I have a ton of hardback books that I've been working on, where I go through, and like this is a guidepost book, and it has good images, single stories, which I can repurpose in other things, and stuff that I look for. Now, I don't know what's inside any of these or how useful any of these 4 books are going to be, but at least I know that none of them sell for much on Amazon. It would cost me more to ship them. So if I'm going to use this style of thing to help the artists, or figure out what I'm going to do, or just craft. Why am I still talking? Let's play. Well, let me turn this on so I can see what your chat looks like, and go there. So while I'm turning this on, it was a fabulous day yesterday. For those of you who wished me a happy birthday yesterday, I really, really appreciate it. And it was quite sweet to, throughout the day, be able to check and see, what was on Facebook, which I haven't had for years and years and years and years, a social media account. And yeah, I know it's easy, and maybe it's just silly even to think about that, but yesterday I really enjoyed all the sweet people sending me notes and emails and messages and such, and it was a good day. It was an all-out good day. Oh, my eyes can barely see this morning. I'm gonna have a hard time reading chat, so please make sure that you guys... Boy, I'm moving in slow motion this morning. Just make sure that you type in all caps if you're sending me a note. So good morning, Lynn, Beverly, and Dan. And Debbie. So this one I know is going to be a useful paperback book. And Two Horse Enterprises, that's a good name from Fremont. I always wonder how you end up with some of these things in your own stash. And this guy came from my own stash. Then here's Looking at You, Eat, Pray, Love, and then this one. So this one, I'll show you guys what I look for in a minute. I need more light. Oh, that's better. And I'm going to zoom you in a little bit so you can't see my legs. All right. Now I'm done fiddle-fanting around. And it'll be obvious what I'll cut apart when I do the one with the animals. So let's choose one that's not so obvious. This is pretty familiar to people, Eat, Pray, Love. So what I want to do is I want to be super gentle and use my 2 hands. One I'm just going to pull softly with this hand, and the other I'm going to gradually push down and to the right with this hand to try to take the cover off where I can repurpose. Like, oh, see, and look what I did. I tugged it too fast, too hard, and too impatient. And so it ripped. It's really not that big of a deal. Because it's paperback, I can tinker with this again later. I can reuse it in so many different ways. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And it ripped off. So let's rip the covers off on all 3 of them, and you can see how you can use duct tape and put it back together because you know how it was. I would use that anyway, no matter what, on the spine to repurpose the spine. Well, I'm glad you're nice and safe at home. So let's set this one aside and go to the next one. Alright, so just using my hands here and hoping that I do a good job. So let's tug it away from this first page. You know, maybe I could even... So I pulled in the first page. Let's see how this works. Going nice and slow. And all I'm holding is the cover and the first page together. Holding the book down to try to tug it. When I was a little girl, my grandma could make it through one of those Harlequin romance novels in like 2 hours. And I didn't know exactly what those novels were until I got to be older. And it did make me chuckle a little bit how often she read them. She read a couple of them in a day. I was always going through those books, and she used to buy them like 10 for $1 or 5 for $1. Oh, I just did it again. That's okay. So, let's see, once I get back to it, I can use the duct tape on the inside and the outside to strengthen this one. It's not too bad. And here's where my little rip is. So don't get all upset when you have a little rip. It's no big thing. Let's put this one aside and move on to the next one. I like how it says, "Here's looking at you." That's so cute. "Here's looking at you, kid." It's a good title. Look at how this one is a misprint. Isn't that weird? See how it says Middlemarch, and it's chopped off at the top. Like it doesn't look right. Good morning, Judy. All right. Trying to work myself patiently. Oh, yeah. Wait, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why, because it's my cup of patience. Okay. Good morning, Renee. Okay, I'm delicately... And I know that I haven't been on much lately. I do have stuff that I need to do, stuff I need to go through. I have a lovely box from Patricia, and I can't even show you the box because I haven't cut off her address yet. Oh, there we go. I really want to get one of these done nice and quietly. So I'm holding pressure down here, using my thumb to try to push slightly, and then pulling here at the same time. I don't know if that's helping you guys understand what I'm working on, but you know, I bet you there's places that would give you damaged and free paperbacks, and they can figure out how to make everything art. It sits still, for goodness sake. Of course it's art. You know, and it can be painted, it can be cut apart. And I'm going in, I don't know what day of the week is today. Does anybody know? Is today Tuesday? I could go to the office today, I should, and work on the hardest kits for this month. There's a lot I need to get done in my personal life on a couple of things. There we go. Oh my gosh, we had one that came out perfect. Isn't it? See, patience helps. Patience helps. Wouldn't this be fun to reverse collage out? Or even layer out? You know, it's just a beautiful circle in the middle, but that looks so weird how they screwed up the top. Oh, it's 9/11. That's right. Thank you. You know, I should know that since yesterday was my birthday. Okay, this is going to be the best one to play with, although the outside is not going to be the best because it's so shiny. So, yeah, I'll figure something out with this one. I just like the animals in it, so cutting this one apart will be fun and easy. Let's see. Let's take out page 1 and 2 and see how well. Ooh, it's really glued in here too. Ooh, look at that. It looks like it's stitched. Can you guys see that? Am I in the right spot? Let me see how close I can get you. See how it looks like it's stitched? All right, let's see what we can do here. To have just the cover. And before, I've torn apart so many books, I don't even know. But they've always been hardcover. So I am playing for the first time with softcover books. Oh, there we go. And every book is a whole new experience every single time, because when you cut apart the book for what's going to become art, or tear apart the book, it's more like it, then, oh, come on, woman, oh, don't mess it up, don't mess it, oh, see, I don't want to mess it up. It's still not ripped, so we're okay. That is a good hunk of glue right there. They're not messing around. Let me see. Pull both wings down. Delicate, and did we get it? Woohoo, we did. Look at that. So now it's nice and pretty on the inside. You could even flip it around and make that the outside if you felt like it. But this could be painted out. I hate snakes. I know they serve a good purpose. I shouldn't hate anything. It's the only creature that totally wigs me out. Snakes. And I could even be standing near an alligator and not freak out. But a snake, woohoo, I'm running, or I'm freaking, or I'm freezing, or I'm crazy. Okay, let's mess with the rest of this. At least this is somebody's P.O. box. Let me see, please come up. Oh my goodness, 5 a.m. Oh, it's too sticky underneath. I don't want to peel it up now. That is just too darn early for me. Okay, so now I know I don't want to keep that page, so this guy will be all by himself. What I'm looking for now is how I want to pull these pages out. And usually the beginning I'll have a nice double page that I play with. But no, there's no nice double page in the beginning of this one. Oh, this one is. Okay, and I'll show you. Here's what I mean by nice. Oh, goodness, Lynn. 5 in the morning. Did I really wake up and go online at 8 in the morning here? I'm so sorry, guys. So my husband's going to be in a bad mood all day from, not for a real bad mood, but like a football fan bad mood. He's a Raiders fan. Okay, here we go. The back page is nice and blank. Second to last, nice and blank. So that means to me it's a good journaling page for if I'm going to stick it into a journal. So you know how when you go through a magazine and you think, how am I going to use these items? This is what I'm doing. Okay. So awake since 2:30 in the morning. Oh my goodness. So here, when I look around this definitely looks like a page I could write on if I was doodling in a junk journal, and I know I could write here if doodling in a junk journal. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this baby off and hopefully keep these 2 pages together. That's my goal. And you really can only do a great job of this in the front, back, and pretty much in the middle. If it doesn't work, and you still want to use it as a journal page spread, you can use tape on both sides or paper on both sides to create your own hinge. Yeah, it didn't work. And it all depends on how it's put together here. So yeah, but that didn't work. But let's assume it did stay together and I didn't have to hinge it. Then what I would do next, whether it's today or at another time, is I would just go in and get rid of the top part. That. And that's because I never need to know what page it was on in a book. And so this page 139, 140, they're both the same height. I can definitely reuse them Do I have glue? I have a tape out here. There we go. I do have tape because I always have this thing out. This is the only one I have out, so let's just use this one. If you want to keep this for a good long time, then you want to put glue on the other side of your tape and just layer it like this. Trying to keep them together. Okay. Hold on. Let's use my board to help line it up. There we go. I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I do this sometimes, where I will use my board to flatten things out and line it up before doing tape. Because, you know, for some of us, and I was talking about shaky hands earlier, some of us, our hands don't, well, not earlier today, earlier a different time. Our hands don't always work well all the time, so you have little tricks. And so one of my little tricks is even simple things I'll tape down. That way when I budget, it takes a little more effort to move it. That's all. Lay it down flat. Yeah, that'll be a good tape spot. Oh, why, thank you, Lynn. That's so sweet. Okay, so got you down here. I'm going to leave extra because I'm going to roll it over on the other side. And we can always just leave this baby with some extras down here too. Alright, this baby's all nice and up. Pull him up carefully. Now I'm going to lay down the other side, on the inside. I'm not doing a good job of lining them up, so give me a second. See, I'm lining the inside up there. Trying to get it to be where if I laid it flat on top, see how it looks like it finishes on that side. Then just fold this over. And so now even if you have 2 pages, and you know, sometimes it's frustrating when you want to see a page look upright in your junk journal. This is what this page is for. And normally when I'm tearing books apart, I don't go ahead and prepare the page in full. I just figured I would share this with you now on how I do when I do prepare it in full. So then this becomes one of the sheets in a signature. Let's say you add 5 or so in there, and all your text is upright. You know, it looks nice. Burnish down the tape, and he'll be happy. That's going to be on the outside, dagnabbit. There you go, burn it down, burnish down the tape again. So what are the crafty projects we're working on these days, you guys? And Renee, what in the heck had you awake since 2:30 in the morning? Goodness gracious. Oh, you know what I don't have out here is my big bucket for trash. That's okay. Ooh. I have another paperback to show you guys. This one is Classic Gunfights. It's a fabulous paperback. And it's from the pages of a magazine called True West. And look at these images. Some died young, others outlived their enemies to tell the version of truth. Look at how beautiful the imagery is in here for layers. And so this is one of those books where you can't decide which page is going to be the page, the stuff that you use for your journaling until you have a specific project. So that's why I'm not tearing this baby apart yet. So I don't know whether or not I want the guy with the little mini cigar. Looks like a freaking 15-year-old. Or, well, on this one, I'm probably going to want that lady and this lady versus this image. But anyway, didn't mean to go through images, but oh, I just love this book. I love Wild West pictures and myths and legends. And look at this image right here. And yeah, this will be a fun one to harvest the images out of. And yeah, just keep your eyes peeled for the paperbacks that have beautiful images, because we don't have to always turn them into books. This one, and someone already ripped a page out of it, and no, it wasn't me, because I haven't messed with this book yet. Okay, so let's keep going on this book. Sometimes I start from the front, sometimes I start from the back, sometimes I tear each page one by one out when I first start, and sometimes I feel like a nut. No, I'm just kidding. It just sounded like that because I was saying sometimes I feel like a nut. All right, so this one has stitches. You see these stitches right here? That is so rare in a paperback. There we go. Here's one. I'm trying to pull it out of the glue and away from the glue. It's very well put together. And I'm just tugging. Ugh. There we go. Yeah, and it ripped it pretty good that way. Let's see if we were able to keep any. The other way to do this, instead of tugging, whenever you have, and this is how you know for sure that you have a stitched book. You can see the little humps right there. Okay, and so stitched books are great. Yeah, I know, I love that one too, Judy. And let me see if I can find the middle of this one. If I'm so lucky to find the middle. And I'm looking for the string, and I found it. Get my little X-Acto knife out. Never cut towards yourself. And I'm just going to lift up and get that string. It's very hard for you to see this string, but there's a string that goes, there's a hole here and a hole here and a string in the middle. And I just got the string. And don't do as I do. Let me see if I can get something to pull that up. No, I don't see anything off the top here, so I'll just have to do another one. Oh, come on, woman. Let's get this next string out. There we go. When I get just under the string, then it starts to pull up. And that's what you're looking for in these. And once I get it out, it should be easy. Let me see if I can get you a close-up here in a second. Maybe that's what will make more sense to you. Try to keep my hands out of your way and zoom you in all nice and close. Okay, so now when I peel it apart, hopefully you can see the little string piece here, string piece there, and another string piece there. Move it around so you can see. Put it down again. And again, don't put the blade towards you if you're young and you're watching this, and sorry for the people who already know that. But I'm trying to get my tip just underneath it, and that's why you keep hearing the click. The blade pointed away from my left hand. There we go. And got this one up, and now you can see that one's up. And do the same for this. I'm sure there's easier ways. Let me try my scissors. Yeah, getting that X-Acto knife underneath these scissors. Maybe. Oh, yeah, that's not so bad. So, yeah, you can do it with scissors, but that felt a little less safe to me. And me, I'm a good person at cutting myself, so... Partly because sometimes I don't follow the rules like I'm supposed to be following. There we go. Oh, I ripped the page, but I think that's okay. Alright, now you'll see why I went through all that extra effort. Let's put you back up and out. No, I'm sorry, I got you a little wonky today. So this page now, I should be able to just lift up because I know it's in the middle and pull out. Oh, but all that glue, there we go. Yep, lifted it up and pulled it out. And now that's a 2-page spread if I want it to be that way. And this would be a good 2-page spread because it has a bear here, and then you can gesso out all the text or even just use it as a painty paper. And do with the bears what you want. And so here's another 2-page spread that I'll keep over to the side. And so that's the beauty of when you have, and I'll just take this whole signature, and a signature, the definition of that is just, oh come on, how come that is just not coming out right? Let's make sure we have that out. Not sure I have that out all the way. Yeah. Maybe. Yep. So a signature is multiple folded pages put together. There you go. Like this. A signature can be as little as 1 sheet or as many as you feel like would be good in your book. Like that. And you lay them together to make your journals, and that's how these pages are going to be used. And so I'll keep this whole section. You see how nice and beautiful they come out when you unstitch the middle part. And when I get to the bottom of this, oh, that sounds like I'm solving a crime. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Let's see. I can definitely feel there's a little bit of something holding these pages together, and all I'm doing is sticking my finger in the middle of these two, grabbing it with either end and just tugging it out because it seems like it's coming out nice. And all I have here now are just the little holes that you can see. What a beautiful animal. Look at that lion. Oof. I suppose cats would scare me if I was all alone. Alright, check this out. Now this is the one that I know is glued to the bottom. So this guy might be a hassle. He might tear. And that's okay if he does. I can choose to keep him separate or together, but we're about to find out. Yep, he tore beautifully. So get excited when you come across, oh, this has no images either. But get excited when you come across a book that has the signatures, because that's how easy it is to pull it apart. And I could do that for all of them. But I'm assuming that you guys are probably going to end up with books that don't have the stitched in signatures. So let's go back to that. And I'm going to move this part of the text block. And a text block is just all the signatures together ready to go on the inside of a book. Alright, so here we go. So table of contents, prologue, introduction, little boy's face. None of these are amazing images. I mean, they're cute and all, but that's pretty. That's pretty uses. Another piece. Alright, so these are all going to be signatures as well. I'm sorry. Oof, that's a scary one. Guy mauled by a grizzly bear. We should use that image for Halloween, huh? Alright, pull these out. So tearing apart. Oh, look at how cool that. This is the kind of gun, for those of you who are my Facebook friends and saw my posting. This pistol is probably, well, it does say high caliber, but it's pretty similar to, so I like the long barreled revolvers personally because I like the Wild West feel of holding the gun. I like the weight of the gun. The long barrel helps improve your accuracy. And so it's my preference. For those of you who don't like guns, I apologize for bringing that up. And then it talks about pepper spray. It's interesting. The kind of pepper spray I keep in my home has a UV added to the pepper spray. So if I spray someone and the cops catch them and I can say, hey, I sprayed their face and their left arm, that'll be, you know, something where they can go see the left arm and see the UV stuff, and it lasts for a week on the person. So the cops have a whole week to really get something good as evidence that it was that person. All right, now I'm going to try to peel this bit of glue off. Once you're about a third of the way down, sometimes you can get the rest of that glue off. And I am just trying. Oh, maybe not. Let's try from both sides. All right, maybe. All right, not going to get a good job of getting this glue off, I don't think. I'm trying though. All right, this is where you get that. If you do a whole bunch of these books and you're tearing at the glue, you get a good etching on your finger right there. Hi, Mia. Oh, I forgot I don't have a garbage can. How can you have a craft spot with no garbage can? What was I thinking? This itty bitty thing is not. Oh, and I love these headers when I'm working on hardcover books. I forget what those are called, but there's a name for those guys too. Why, thank you, Mia. I appreciate that. All right, now let's pretend that it's no longer stitched like a regular signature, and I'm going to start harvesting the book. What I look for are images, obviously. So there's a good image. And I know that that image is going to be my favorite part on the book. So, I mean, on this particular page. So then I flip it to where my image is down. This is an interesting little set. So if there's no good image, then I looked for the text on both sides. Ooh, or white space. Now, here's something that goes on in my head. I like to make decisions while I'm tearing the book apart on how I'm going to use the book. Let's put this away so it's safe. And so here, I love that it has to avoid a grizzly attack, to stop a grizzly attack, and on the back side it's blank. Even though I lose the rest of the information on how to stop a grizzly attack, that's okay. I can go up here, rip it, and I love the look of ripped paper. Not to mention it goes faster when you're crafting. But now I have a beautiful page that is a journaling page I can put back into this book or into a different book. And that's just the idea of how I harvest them. I'm sure it's obvious to you guys. You probably do the same thing. But now I like this image better than this page. So when I tear this out, I just put the image I like down. So when I'm all done and I flip it over, these are all the ways that I do it. But I figured I could hang out and this will be, if it's bigger, usually I'll go with like 4 inches, 4.5 inches. Then I'll keep my paper for die cuts. But if it's smaller after I tear it, smaller than 4 inches, I usually don't keep them. Unless there's good text or a ton of white space. But generally, that's 4 inches is kind of my rule. And you know what? If you ask me next year, it'll probably be more than 4 inches or less than 4 inches. I don't keep the same rule. Ooh, I like both of those. Dag-nabbit. That stinks. Okay, which one do we like? We like the cow moose, or I kind of like that guy. Bison scare me. They're cool though. So we saw a huge herd of bison, and they happened to be in Yellowstone, and we did see a huge herd of bison, but I don't remember if it was in Yellowstone or not. Oh, look at this. This is good for a side. So to avoid an elk, to stop a moose, to stop an elk. See, to me, because they're all 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, I would put these on separate pages. And then later, I'll back this paper with lined paper, or I'll paint this out to go on to another project. But I'll leave it like that for now. I'll decide later. Oh, I hate snakes. Oh, chapter 7 is... Oh, I hate snakes. Let's get out of chapter 7. I really, 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 really don't like them. Okay, we're done with chapter 7. I'll keep... And, you know, I know I'm such a baby, but I really do hate them. We'll just set that aside. Okay, chapter 8, spiders. And I'm sorry if somebody feels that way about spiders. We'll put the spider down there. Oh, I've seen black widows. And brown recluse. And speaking of brown recluse, I have a daughter who was actually bit by a brown recluse, and another one when she was bit by a spider or a creature of some sort. It looked like a brown recluse bite, and she's like, "Mom, you're overreacting, but you gotta take those seriously." I didn't know they were often called a fiddleback. I don't know how I feel about that image. That image makes me a little uncomfortable. So we'll just save these little cutouts. Makes for good Halloween stuff. And now you see why, as I'm tearing the book apart, deciding which side matters, because it'll make my next step matter more. All right. How to avoid a brown recluse. It doesn't give me the whole story because it finishes over here. This is useless. So this is one of the pages I won't use. So I'll set that aside. How to avoid a scorpion. See, that's all by itself in a good checklist. That's good. And then this is a full-on checklist. So this became my favorite. Okay, there's a scorpion. So I have a different daughter who was stung by a couple of different scorpions on different time periods. Oh, and there's a gator. That's a good-looking gator. I kind of like the shadows on that. You know, I like black and white images. So some people go, "Oh, it sucks that all the images are black and white." But me personally, I really like the black and white images. I'm going to be able to have both. So I'm going to do this now while I'm thinking about it. And try to get as square as I can to rip the image of my alligator here. And try to be able to get both. And then, see, now I still have my scorpion. And just drop the lines on both sides so it looks nice and clean for later. And that's what I'll do if I have something on both sides, is try to get both. You get a lot of different spiders when you are... Wait, did I miss something? Okay. Now, sometimes when I'm ripping these pages out, I will be thinking to myself, can I turn it into a pocket? On this one, I can definitely attach both sides and turn this into a belly band. Garbage again. Alright, so this one goes down here. Of course, alligators have increased rapidly in the past couple of decades, and that's because alligators used to be free rein to shoot them, and then they were shot down too fast. We need the alligators to keep the large snake population down, so I hope people don't make it free rein on the gators. They're the ones that are battling those big-ass, excuse my language, those big snakes in the Everglades, which aren't too far south of where I am. So right now, alligators are my friends, because big snakes are creepier to me. Because people, when they buy the snakes that they shouldn't have brought over to our states, And then they release them out in the wild. It messes with the ecosystem. All right, so here we go. Alligators, alligator behavior. Then I'll stick with this side. Oh yeah, if somebody feeds a gator, then you got to put the gator down because they can't understand the difference between the food and the human. How to stop an alligator attack. Oh, that's a good one. How to stop it. Oh, but that pig is so cute. Yeah, it's definitely the pig. Wild boar are dangerous too, actually. We used to live in oh, that's beautiful. That is one healthy looking coyote, because the coyotes I've seen are scrawny and hungry looking. But yeah, we saw javelinas, which are how to avoid a coyote attack. And the coyote, you know what? This is not finished on this page. This is not finished on that. Yes, I don't want that one. Coyote checklist, that's a good one to have. How do rabies disease work? I don't know if I really want that in a journal. But this would be good if you were doing kind of a dark journal. Oh, that's so funny that you're terrified of gators and love snakes and spiders. See, you're probably not going to pass away from a gator, but snakes scare me because there are some that are just so dangerous. So my brothers went with me yesterday, no, not yesterday, day before yesterday, to go see the house that we're still in the process of closing on. And so we're still in the middle of close. And they are so, there's so much character in my brothers that you just, it's hard to describe, hard to picture, and it is just adorable. It's like we're all little kids when we get next to each other. And so they were checking out, because it's a wood house built in 1910, and they were jumping on the floors and climbing in the attic. One of them went underneath the crawl space, just doing inspections and checking out the place, and it was just adorable. Initial sign. I didn't know. Hydrophobia is the Greek for dread of water. It's a horrible symptom of rabies. Isn't that funny? So you get a dread of water when you have rabies? And then you get an overpowering craving for water, but when it's brought to the lips, they recoil in horror. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. That's cool. Well, hi, Emily. How have you been? And then I haven't said hi to Susan either. I haven't said... Oh, that's because you just popped in. Well, okay. Well, how have you guys been doing, and what projects are you guys working on? All right, hold on. I got distracted when I was looking at this. So I think these will be the ones that I rip out. And you can see that I don't mind taking just sections of books. And this image of a skunk is kind of fun because I like when you can't see all the edges. Because if you're just learning to paint, or you're not a great painter, I'm not a great painter, or if you're trying to change how you paint, it's fun to take an image without perfect lines, because I just have to give you the idea there's a skunk there. And this is a good example of how to do that. So I'll save this side for painting inspiration. Oh my goodness, I missed your auction, Emily. I'm so sorry. When was your last auction? Oh, stamping ladybugs on painting papers. Oh, I love ladybugs. I have a circle book right next to me right now. And I know I get distracted, guys. I'm sorry. I have a circle book right next to me, and look, it has how to take a circle and make a pretty little ladybug. Isn't that cute? That would be fun for like a spring card. Circles, little project. Okay, how rabies spread, how to avoid rabies. All right, there we go. So I'll save the how to avoid rabies. Then you have the raccoon. We know it's that side. Rabies checklist. Oh, see, I think I like the how to avoid being bit by a rabid animal. And I don't like having the spread right here. And that was the center of that signature. And all of these should be easy to pull out now that that signature is done. Let me just, there we go. Because they were all just pages folded in half, right? There we go. That's done. Okay, making your home safe. Oh, you know, I don't know on this one. I mean, it looks to be... This is not a finished story. This is not a good image. So I guess this is a finished story. That's fine, I'll save that one. I may not even save that page later. Lion-proof, oh, the rural home. Bear-proofing your home. That's a whole section. That's nice. Vigilance towards disappearing pets. Oof. Isn't that scary? Let me see where that drops me. So if I rip this out, I might be able to have both sides. Yeah, that's not too bad. Now, if you don't rip it straight and you really want it straight, you can cut it or whatever. For me, I'll just try to go back and fix my mistakes, which sometimes creates more, but yeah, it's okay. So I don't mind it starting harmony with the wild land and its inhabitants and then having this little story. But I like it if it's tight at the top. I want it to be tight all the way around. Oh my gosh, did I just do that? Oh no, it's okay. And then tight all the way around. See, I like it better when it's like that because now it's a whole story on both sides. And even though it's tight, yeah, I can attach that in somewhere. If I would have left one of the white bands on there, I could have used that white band to add the tape without interrupting. Well, hi, Sherry. I may or may not use that page. I don't know, I'll see. Oh, is this the one I wanted both sides? Why did I pull that? Oh, because it's garbage. Llamas. Wow. Oh, that's so sad looking. Do I get, but oh, I just don't, that's so sad looking. Let's just keep the llama side. That is one healthy looking coyote. Man. That is a beautiful, okay, here we go. Epilogue, don't take chances. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that page either. So, out of the whole book, there's only that was a very successful book. Out of the whole book, there's only a few pages that I didn't want to keep. Oh, you have a wonderful day too, Emily. If you're about to do a stream, I apologize for crossing over your stream. All right, now I'm just going to tear the... Oh, this is garbage. Let's make sure I don't accidentally keep the garbage in here. And these will be my pages that I keep. Oops, I have a few random images left in here. Look at this. A couple of monkeys. I like this guy on the snowboard. Nothing but an arm. Funny piece of a dice. These came out of a different book, actually. And then a football guy. So move those aside. Oh, okay, at 1 p.m. So these are the pages I'm keeping. These are the pages that are trash. I don't want to make a mistake here and mess it up, so let's just make that my trash bin. All right. And I'm just going to go through, and I'm still just harvesting the same book, right? But all I want to do now is rip it to where I get rid of the excess papers. And if I'm doing it this way and it's way on the left, this is the book I'm ripping for those that came in late. Move that out of the way. Thank you here, and this is trash. I do keep my scissors handy in case I want to do something more, but off to my left is where I'm going to put my trash. That'll work. All right, so I'm good here. I'm good here. And again, I really want to keep it to where what I want is face up. I'm sorry, face down on the board so I don't have to stack and then restack. And I never want the page, I shouldn't say never, I usually don't want the page numbers. But this page, see how he can make actually a good pocket? I can even put like a little loop right there. That's what I'm thinking of on this page. Take care, Emily. And so now he can definitely be a good size pocket. And I may change my mind later, and that's fine too. Get rid of the deer booty. And I can just leave him like that because he has the potential for being a pocket too. I could even make him a nice pocket this way. If I did, I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's assume, oh, I can't rip that tiny. Let's assume I'm going to make this into a pocket in a book. Oops, that was a crappy rip. That happens sometimes. It's because I didn't hold the ruler down proper. So, oh, and it's too tiny right there. That's fine. If you hold the ruler at the ends and it bubbles in the middle, then you'll get that pull up. And I need to do a better job of centering where my fingers are on that. Okay, and so here, he can be a pocket. So I'm going to just take him and try to follow the line on his nose, which is kind of nice. And then I'll come down and drop off. Yeah, so I'll show you what I mean by thinking of him like a pocket. I have a tiny little white border. Let's see if I can do the same on this side. You can use glue or double-sided stick tape to put your pockets in. I would probably edge it with some kind of ink, and then you can even see the text down here. So I fold up where it's on the face side down, so I know that I don't have any text rolling around my corner. And so now, if I wanted to put something in there, he would make a good pocket. See what I mean? And I like when they're different, and this is nice like that. But before I would glue it down on anything, I would actually just cut off these corners. Some people cut them off this way, just taking out the specific corner itself. So this is really what you want to get rid of. I make so many when I make pockets that instead of cutting out that corner like that, I find the point in the middle of that and just cut across the point. Gives me two edges like that, and it serves the same function. One is not better or worse than the other, at least from my opinion. If you're going to display it, then it looks nicer like this. It looks like it comes to a point there. And if they're all the same size, then it looks like beautiful corners on a frame. And then if you cut out the corners like this, You have glue that comes up to the end. This lays over and has glue as well. So both have a good purpose. Do you see how this one has a nice edge here? I'm going to do the same on this side. So to me, this pocket would be done. Mitered, thank you. Yeah. Simple, basic, done. And I'll roll it back out, but yeah, that's a good pocket. Take the trash back out of here. What a beautiful creature. This guy, I'll just make sure I rip him down where I have room to make a good pocket. Because he'll probably be a pocket as well. And normally, a book will not give me this many fabulous pages. This just happens to be, I call it textbook style. This just happens to be textbook style. And now you see why when I was ripping the pages, you know, it reduces the number of times you touch it. If you choose the side while you rip your pages out. Good morning, Sherry. Did I already say good? Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. All right, so I wouldn't put these both on the same page. So I'll just separate them now. And yeah, I know I wouldn't cut that out and make a pocket, but that's okay. I'll just leave it like this because I can decide later. Oh, look at this. This is good on the front and the back. Firearms on elk, and on the back side it shows you a female elk. Well, hi, Cindy. Oh, yeah, I know what? My knife was sitting like this a second ago. Now it won't do that, but I must have knocked it upright. All right, here we go. We already chose this side, right? Yeah, I think so. To avoid an elk. Save that. To stop a moose. Save that. And to stop an elk. Yeah, these are... And, you know, I might just leave that white because I'm not sure how I'm going to be using this page. And what's nice is you don't have to use all of this. I guess you can't call it ephemera, but these supplies that you get from when you tear the books apart, what's nice is you can spread them around many different books and it adds variety and interest. You can spread it around many different projects. I don't always know how I'm going to use the pages. But if you have the opportunity to do a book harvest, it's just a craft in itself to harvest the book and decide. You know. So I hope this isn't just too obvious for you guys and boring for you guys. But it's what I felt like doing this morning. Look, it talks about Ann Landers. It's not a finished story right there. So let's just stop it at the bottom. There we go. Okay, we don't need a conclusion, but an arachnid checklist. It's not bad. That's definitely a cool pocket if you're doing a creepy book. And there's my scorpion, there's my gator, alligator behavior. When my mom was alive, she claimed to have a pet alligator, and she and I got into a big conversation because she was talking about how, because she used to live way in the backwoods with my brothers. Oh, thank you, Sherry. And, you know, well, a whole nother thing, but my brothers actually could probably have a show because they're so authentic, so real, and when you put them together, it's like I can't even, I'm not able to capture it. I definitely am not able to capture it, but they're big enough characters that they could each probably have their own show. And the people watching wouldn't even believe the stories when we all get together. They'd be like, "No, that's not real." Oh no, they're real. And so there's a lot of look at how much white space is right there too. I might leave this way. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna leave it this way. Create like a little pocket out of that baby too, because then I'll know what I wanted. I didn't cut him perfect, so because it's a pocket, I don't have to do a rip. I can just come back with my slicer and get it right. If you don't feel comfortable ripping with a ruler, then line it up. Line it up wherever you line it up and make it square. And then come back in with whatever your cutting tool is. Today my cutting tool is an X-Acto knife. And you can see how it's not straight there. Now, when I'm using my X-Acto knife on a cutting mat, I'm always afraid of cutting too deep. And so don't put pressure on it and ruin your mat. Because sometimes that gouge is too much for your mat to heal. So just a light weight to get whatever you're cutting off. And so it's more square. That's all. All right, let me put this baby back. I don't know that I'm quiet, per se. Kind of quiet. But I'm definitely less wild. That's for sure. Look at this. This is white on both sides. So this makes a good backing for another one if I want to make something, well, not sure, but could potentially color this and make it the back of another one where you layer it in. I usually take the white pages of one book and back the pages of another book that are torn out so they're slightly different colors. And yeah, it's less than 4 inches like I told you before, but man, that is one big pocket in somebody's book. It's a good one. Coyote checklist. Look at this, we're almost done with our first book. So, my brothers have all kinds of different skills. And one of them, or all three of them, have the skill to do machine work, I believe. They're all very technical. They've all built all different kinds of things. And, but one of them used to race airboats. And he has a story that one time he jumped off of an airboat and tackled a small alligator. And I don't care how small the alligator is. The alligator's too big to always be tackled. 1, because, you know, their mamas love them. 2, because it's a freaking gator. You know, but, you know, that's one of my brothers for you. And they'll ride something in a way that is just risky, you know, just to see how much they can get out of that engine or machine, or, you know, they're always repurposing some engine into something, and, you know, there's always, or one of them is always doing something like that. It's kind of cool. Hi, Joy. I really like this skunk. I might save this baby out and just play with him soon. Yeah, all I'm doing, Joy, is just disassembling a paperback book. This one happens to have a ton of images. Most of my paperbacks don't have this much. And then I'm just deciding how to use it later. But given that it's all about animals and attacks and wild animals, I think that this one would be kind of fun to pull from regularly for junk journals. It is cathartic to disassemble books. It really is. Definitely a lovely craft all on its own. And look how many pages I'm getting out of this book that are useful. Oh my gosh, talk about a good success book. Now, the downside of always flipping your pages to one side as you go through them, every once in a while I make a mistake and forget to flip it in the right way, so as I'm making a tear, assuming I already made the right decision, and I'm not checking the back side, then I have the sad face on because I tore right through a beautiful image I like on the other side. That happens. Doesn't really matter, I guess, but it happens. Okay, now chapter 13. Did we decide we liked that? This is the one I'm not really sure. Yeah, I guess I'll stick with making your home safe. When I have something like this, which is all text, sometimes I'll just go in and make it like something that I want to fold up. And so when I'm visualizing this particular page, what I'm visualizing is a little story where the backside is going to have a blank piece of paper on the backside, or I gesso it out so you can fully write on the backside. And then the inside is the story, and this would get tucked into one of the pockets. Now, sometimes I'll trim off these edges so it's nothing but the story, and sometimes I'll leave it. Just depends on what I'm in the mood for. Oh, like trimming off those edges. Okay. Skunk and raccoon proofing your home. Yeah, the crawl space of the next place I'm moving to is about 30 inches. That is a big crawl space. Oh, that is just so sad. Oh, heartbreaking. It's their world, we just happen to live in it, you know? And when you live in an area where they're constantly building and growing, and you see the forest get smaller and smaller around you, it is a little heartbreaking. Because you know we're taking away their homes, and then they don't know what to do. And Fort Myers happens to be one of the faster growing cities, so we have these big wide open areas that used to be, you know, swampy wildlands, huge areas, and then a developer will come in and buy it, which we understand. Humans, our population is growing, right? Gosh, that's a big and beautiful pocket, isn't it? He's just peeking around the corner. You could even turn that into a book page. Look at this. That's the back side of the book, and that's the front side of the book. See that? That's a good one. Yeah, this guy, I'm going to save him and enjoy that one. Alright. Now that I'm done with this little stack, what I typically do, let me pull the other ones over that I pulled out from the beginning, because those are all the sheets that look like they'll go in as signatures themselves. Not signatures, as pages in a signature themselves. So this is just one step. I'll come back to it later when I want to use the sheets or the pages, and I'll put this into a Ziploc bag with this completed. And I usually keep the dust cover when I'm doing a hardback book, but on these paperbacks, you just joined me for the first one, so I guess I'm just going to leave the paperback whole for that. Set them in there. And move on to the next one, which this one should go easy. Because I doubt there's as many images in this one. And I need to get off my feet. I'm sitting on my feet again. Oh. Oh, sorry for the grunting, but I was sitting on my feet and that was not good on the feet. Because now my right foot is completely asleep and it's going to wake up soon. Oh. Shh. Stop grunting, woman. So, I know that I have a few people sitting here and hanging out with me, and I'm just curious. I'm a Virgo. What sign are many of you? Yeah, I don't really want that page at all. Oh, so the book, hold on. The book I'm working on now, it's so weird how it says, you can't even see what it, middle manner is what it says. And it's just chopped off at the top. Watch, I'm destroying some book that's a, oh, Middle March, not Middle Manor. Look at that, it could have been either M-A, oh yeah, that is an R. Okay, so here we go. And you know, I know you guys, it's a morning, so odds are you guys have busy something going on in your morning. My Life in Middle March, contents, that's a good white space. We'll keep that one. What I should have done is kept those two together. Yeah, it's too late now though. My Life in Middle March, I'll keep it on that side. I like to save at least one part of it. And then let's go to the back to see if we have a good spread to save. Ooh, Aquarius. Now you have me singing that song. Oh, did it really end so abruptly like that? Extra book. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, there's no good white pages for a good spread, so this page will be ripped page by page. With that said, sometimes what I'll do, and I'll show you just a different way to do it. Oh, hello, lovely Mary. Now, Mary, I know you go on in the mornings. I'm not interrupting your morning, am I? Because I will totally drop off just so you can have your normal time. Because I hate to be over your slot and interrupt. I mean, I have nowhere near the watchers. Also, I don't do a good job of publicizing, which I apologize to that, you know, to all of you for that. But, okay, let's do this really quick. So what I'll do, I don't put a lot of pressure. I just keep going over with a rotary blade or an X-Acto knife, whichever one's closer by that day. And just cut through. And I'll make my decisions after. And I keep the spine on my right because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, keep the spine on your left. I don't know if it's proper to be cutting the way I'm cutting, because I am cutting towards myself technically. So don't follow the process for how I'm cutting. I don't want to have anybody go, oh my gosh, I did this and I cut my leg because I did it this way. And yeah, cut away from yourself all the time. If you see me cutting towards myself, that's probably not the way to do it. All right, so when I cut stuff like this and I end up with this extra fluffy tuff, oh, you have the baby today. Oh my gosh, Mary, I would love to be babysitting my grandkids. That is just the coolest thing in the world. It so is the coolest thing in the world. To watch your children raising children. It's just amazing. I wish all my kids were close by. I really do. All my kids and their kids, and even if they don't have kids. I do. I miss them. I don't miss some of the drama from when they were 17 or teenagers or whatever it is. But I don't miss going into the cabinet and being out of cereal either. I had one kid who, he loved his cereal. I would go in to go get cereal, and I don't always want it. I rarely want it. But when I want it that day. So I usually would keep it in the fridge. So I would usually have something that was off limits to them. Not fridge. I usually keep an extra one in the cabinet. So I would have one something that was off limits. There we go. There we go. But I had a small army. I had 4 that I raised. My husband had 2. And by the time we moved in together, he had 2 that were already grown. I had 1 that was almost moving out. So it's not like we raised all 6 together. But now, after being together so many years, I love his kids as much as I love my own. I mean, I love them all so intensely. I just want them all to be happy. Man, I went off on another track, didn't I? Man, I'm just in a talking mood today. Hey, Laura, how have you been? Oh, you have a blessed day as well. Susan, you say I'm a big girl, I can keep from cutting myself. Trust me, I don't. Oh, you can't even see that blister anymore. He's pretty much healed, but yeah, I'm not a, oh, I do injure myself a lot. I'll just say it that way. I won't say I'm not a safe person, because I'm pretty safe. But some people who watch my channel are truly brand new to crafting. So if you're brand new to using an X-Acto knife, just don't push down hard. You're less likely to injure yourself if you just use the sharpness of the blade instead of pushing it down. Bye, Judy, and I was just gonna say something. I forget what I was gonna say. I could peel this back, but let's just cut the rest of this off. So one of the kids, my husband's oldest son, one of the kids is a writer. And so I felt so guilty destroying a book while he was here because, you know, I always worry that he would be like, oh, I see, we take all this time when we write a book and, you know, but I feel like there's still honor in the book because it gets repurposed, right? All right, let me clean a little bit of this mess up now that we have this part done. Okay, so all I saw here earlier when I was asking what sign we all were is Aquarius and Cancer, right? I know that Virgos are known for their organization, which I'm pretty organized except for filing. I am the crappiest organizer when it comes to filing. Oh, that's bad. Oh, I'm itchy right there. Oh, so another Cancer and a Libra. Now, what is a Libra known for? What are the different signs actually known for? Okay, I'm going to start over. Now I can just flip through and I don't have to worry about making that noisy tear out. Let's do that. So we want this page this size. Now when I'm going through a book, I will look for italicized things or stuff at the top at the beginning of the chapter. Sometimes there's really good stuff at the beginning. And so that's what I'm looking for here. So here was something beyond the shallows of ladies' school literature. And I might actually keep that little phrase, and it's just fun to take words like that and use them in other projects that you're doing. So there's nothing good there, nothing good there. I'm sure there's good quotes, but I'm not going to read every page in the book to get there. So I'm just going to flip through pretty quickly. I do look for white space, but I like my white space to be 4 inches or more if I can. Balanced. Ooh, and creative. Well, that's lovely. Oh, I sit on my feet again because I just can't sit on my booty like that. Okay, something she yearned for by which her life might be filled with action at once rational and ardent. Okay. Is she really quoting future chapters in this chapter? That's interesting. All right, here we go. This one is less exciting than all the animals because we're just looking for something fun. And sometimes when, that's cute, says Dorothea. Oh, see, now that's good white space. So I'll save that one. Move this over so I'm not smushing myself out. We do not expect people to be deeply moved by what is not usual, not unusual. Well, isn't that true? I am queen of stating the obvious, and I'm kind of thinking that one is a stating the obvious one. But sometimes the obvious is new to me. It wasn't obvious before, so then I state that obvious. So here we go. A change had come over Fred's sky, which altered his view of the distance. Oh, Fred's sky. I thought his name was Fred Sky, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. So when you have small text and it's beautiful italics like this, I just picture it making a tag, or even picture it making a cluster. And they're good in other books. And one of the nice things, if you keep a book together with its original cover and you redo the cover and turn it into another journal, you've already got beautiful ephemera that you can put into the book based on what came out of the book. And I enjoy doing it that way. I just recently destroyed a Kennedy book that was a hardcover, and you pulled out all your fabric for swap. You put it all together, you organized it, and then you put everything back. Oh my gosh, that is fabulous. I totally should do a fabric swap, because right now I have just gone through and done a cleansing of my own fabric stuff, but I know that I'm moving soon. Even though we're closing on the house on Thursday, we're probably not going to move until November. Oh, but wait till you see. So I don't want to share the whole house because I do have a stalker I've had for over 20 years. So I can't share the outside view with you guys, but if you could see it, it's amazing. What I might do, though, is there's an historic picture of the home. I might share with you the historic picture of the home because nobody else would have that, and you couldn't figure out which home it was in what neighborhood, you know, by just seeing the front of it. So I'll share with you one of the historic pictures. And then I will show, what does this one say? The memory has as many moods as the temper and shifts its scenery like a diorama. Oh, that's a cute quote. And so I like keeping all my kits together. Yeah, I do the same. I keep my kits together too. And then I'll add to my kit. And that's the process I'm in right now. Ooh, the hubs just woke up. That's exciting. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to finish this book because this book's not going to take me very long to flip through. And then I'm going to go in and make some breakfast. Let me see. Oh, so I can't wait to share bits and pieces of the house with you guys because as Lynn told me, it's in the Edwardian era. Ooh, look at this. So this is on white space. Look at that. That's a good one. Oof, that's good stuff. Okay. So Edwardian is the period just before Victorian. And once we move in, I'm going to throw a Great Gatsby party because that's the theme that's going to be going on in the house. Furniture and rugs, not all the art, but our art actually does fly in with some of the Great Gatsby stuff. Not all of it, just some of it. There we go. But I think that will be just a fabulous party to throw. Did you guys see me waving at my husband? Gosh, he's so cute. Oh, I'm just blessed to have every minute and every day. Oh my gosh, you guys are just a few days apart. How cute. And my husband and I are both like that. He's the August 28th and I'm September 10th. It's not a few days, but we're both Virgos. Okay, here we go. I don't think either of us could spare the other or like anyone else better. However much we might admire them. It would make too great a difference to us, like seeing all the old places altered and changing the name for everything. I don't fully get that. I need more coffee. But it's interesting she references later in the book. Well, this will be, what does this one say? Every limit is a beginning as well as an ending. Isn't that the truth? That's a good one. Oh my gosh. So right now, I don't actually have a craft room. We are living in a 2-bedroom condo, and the guest bedroom and the second bedroom is where I store my craft supplies. And so the future house is going to have a master bedroom, 2 guest bedrooms, and a craft room. And outside of my craft room is a loft area that is going to have a hobby table for my husband, so he can be just outside the room in the craft room because he can't stand messy at all, and my craft room is always messy. And so he's going to enjoy, oh, look how much white space is on this page. He's going to enjoy having a hobby table with a little buffet table that we're going to convert to store games and different types of hobby things he can enjoy just outside the craft room, so we can hang out next to each other all the time. And then just off the loft area where we're going to have a game table. Oh, thank you, Sherry. Just outside of there, there's a separate room, which is not air conditioned. It's just one room with 3 sides are windows. And the one room that 3 sides are windows, it's kind of small. It's used to be a little teeny front porch. How big is that? Yeah, definitely big enough. And so that little room is beautiful for spring and fall. And that little room is going to be what we call the Zen room. And I haven't decided what to do with it besides put a very vintage rocking chair. If I was still smoking cigars, it might actually have been that room because it was an old patio. It's nothing but a bunch of louvered windows. Actually, no, I wouldn't smoke cigars in there because I would think about the ceiling. So no, it would have just been somewhere out on the property, which is a little bit more than half an acre. So I'm excited about gardening again. So I am almost done with this book. These pages, look how many are in here and how beautiful the font is. And I don't know if it's racy or not, but look at the width. This width is a perfect page width for if I'm doing die cuts. So it's almost exactly 5 inches. There you go. It's just shy of 5 inches. So it'll be perfect for die cuts. So I'll save these book pages for my die cutting machine. You know, being outside is lovely. So if you have a spot in the garage where you craft, that's a lovely spot. Oh, I have it upside down. Okay, so we know we want this whole white sheet. I might keep the title page for reusing the book. And then here, just trim this out. Take out the word prelude. I get a little tear and it doesn't matter. And so I'm just going to go through and rip these. Oops, what happened? Sorry about that. I didn't even know. Sets of rubber stamps, books, and you know what? One of the things I worry about is in the craft room, I'm away. I'm used to always being right next to my husband all the time. And yeah, I used to be like that, where I would go into the craft room and I've always had a craft room until we downsized to a boat. So here I have white space up at the top, but I'm going to leave that. I know I keep changing topics on you guys, sorry. But, yeah, I've kind of gotten used to hanging out in the same room where my husband is all the time. And I like that. Oh, I like that it says old and young, too. I might keep that. And take out, see, I'm not going to take out the word Middlemarch chapter 20 because I might fold that and it might become a pocket. I never know what I'm going to do when I have little text like this. So if I need to rip it or cut it again later, that's fine too. I am not going to keep the words waiting for death. Oops. I have to craft only in the morning in the summer, and you move your things to the dining room table in the winter. Yeah, see, it's the same for me right now, Sherry. Right now I craft on the dining room table or sitting on the back patio on this table. And that's where I'm at now. But I love the lighting in the dining room. And I love hanging out with the hubs. 3 Love Problems. I think I might keep that title too. That's a good title. And so I have one book I just recently trimmed out. And you see how this eye is large? Well, one of the books I had, and it was Elizabeth I. It had these beautiful calligraphy letters as the first letter in each chapter. And they had a lot of chapters in that book, which was fabulous because I have a whole baggie of the chapter starter letters. And that I think that's cool. And so that'll be fun in a bunch of different projects. The Dead Hand, yeah, I don't think that's going to go on any of my book ideas. Oh my gosh, that sounds like it's fabulous, Mary. Although the downside for me is if I had that much space, I'd probably fill that much space with supplies. Oh, and I didn't think to ask you guys, does the ripping of the paper drive you, I mean, I'm at the end of my video now, but does the ripping of the paper, was it driving you crazy? Is this something I shouldn't be doing on camera? Oh, I love a big oak tree. This new house we're moving to has a huge oak on the corner. It has 2 different branches that say I really should put in a swing for the grandkids. I don't have any grandkids living locally yet. Someday I may. I do have one daughter who lives here in Florida, just in a different city. And then you never know if the grandkids are going to come down and visit. But I'm going to put a swing up there anyway because it's an oak tree and it looks like it needs a swing. Oh my gosh, that sounds fabulous, Mary. Sewing and quilting room, a lounge area, a craft area. You haven't even heard the hearing. Oh, this says sunset and sunrise. I like that too. It's one of the things I love about taking a picture of the sunset. Is when I look at the pictures later. You know, you just never know. Is there a difference? I don't know. If I woke up early enough to find out whether or not the sunrise and the sunset would look different. But you'd never have the same location anyway because it'd be on the opposite side. It'd be east side instead of west side. That is one of the things I love about living on the west side of Florida is you get the sunset views. Although when we lived on the boat, we also had a sunrise view over some mangroves. So it looked like we were out in the wild there. But it was a cool experience. Well, hi, Sharon. Oh, look, it's blank on both sides. Isn't that lovely? There we go. All right, it looks like I'm about done with this book, and I really enjoyed spending the morning with you all. I'm about to go cook some oatmeal for breakfast, and for those of you who want to keep your heart healthy, oatmeal is a fabulous way to do so. So, not that I'm doing a commercial for oatmeal, but I am. I know that's silly, but it really helps. So love and hugs, everyone. Please take care and stay out of trouble. I don't know why I saved this little piece, but I guess I wanted to rip one more thing. And looking forward to hanging out with you guys again someday in the future. And you never know, I don't know what I was going to say, but you never know how short you have with some people or how long you have with some people. So treasure every minute. That's what I say. Love and hugs, everybody. Take care.